So yesterday was we have stopped the topic up to concepts and conventions, and I said that today we are going to learn about the accounting classification. Now, accounting classification is actually divided into three parts. Even I have sent you the this thing also, notes also. So in this one, we have two parts. It is going to be divided into two parts. So one we call it as a personal, impersonal. So this is called as a personal account. And
ఎన్నెన్నో వచ్చిందన్న అక్కడ
అది పోనీలే అది మిస్టేక్. Next personal account. Then it is
ఇంపాస్
impersonal accounts anamata. So impersonal account is again divided into two parts mali. So here this is called, again this part is called as real account, and this part is called nominal account. So this is a overall classification of accounting. So here we call it as a personal, and here it is called as a impersonal, and impersonal వచ్చేసరికి again the impersonal is subdivided into real and a nominal. So what is this classification? Why it is so important? Because here we are like in the organization. I said yesterday when I was talking you about these concepts and conventions, at that time I have told you that everything is must that it is to be recorded in the books. Everything, the disclosure, it was one of the convention we have studied yesterday. So every disclosure, it is very important that it has to be presented in the books, because might be anyone can utilize this information for anyone who are related to the company, for whomever it may be useful information. That is the reason any information which is related to the company and which is in the materialistic format and which is in the actual can be convertible into the money format, then it is must that we have to go for recording this one. Now this is fine, I said okay, we have to record it. Now the thing is how we are going to record, because there are n number of a transaction occurring in the organization, there are n number of a things happening in the organization, then there should be some sort of a base wherein we record actually. So here how I am going to record it. So here they have classified the overall organization transactions into three parts. So that parts are called as a personal, real, and a nominal. In simple, we call these as a classification into three format: personal, real, and the nominal parts. So here they have segregated the total transactions, means whatever the chances of occurring, the events occurring in the organizations or a transaction happening in the organizations, they have decided that these all will be coming under these main categories. These are the main categories which will be affected. So that is the reason we are going to categorize all the things into three parts. So that is about a personal, real, and a nominal. So what is this personal? The name itself says person, means anything which is related to the person's name or any kind of company's names. Those all transactions, the rule applicable is personal rule will be applied. Okay, any transaction which relates to the person or company or indirect person, whatever it is, If a person is related, if the transaction is related to a person, then that all transactions should follow the rule of personal rule. And what is a real? Real is something materialistic, purely materialistic thing anmata. So real rule will be applicable for all those transactions which are in the form of material format, not in the person format. They are in the form of material format. Those kind of things we term or we follow the rule of real rule. Then, what is nominal? So, nominal, here we can simply say nominal is something hiding the personal transactions. It's namesake transactions, we can say, or nominal transactions, or anything which cannot be categorized purely under a personal or a real. Those all transactions we are going to take in the nominal account. So what are these one? So I said the total transactions will be subdivided into personal, real, and a nominal. Then how the what is the rule? Whatever I'm talking about, the rule is applicable. So what is the rule is applicable here is now for everything I said every transaction is to be split into two format. I said every transaction is to be split into two formats. So I have to take into consideration what is coming in and in return what is going out. So that coming in and going out, we have divided into two. Now, when I divided, how I'm going to represent them? I have to represent something, no? If I am splitting out, I split it out. I should assign something like I should say one, two, A or B. Something I have to assign that. So that is what here we have assigned a word called debit and credit. They have assigned the word called debit and credit.
Debit
So
and credit.
yeah, so this one you would have heard about it. So for
Yes, ma'am.
everything, the two things like I said, two things are there definite. So when I say two things, something assigning we have to make it because then only we can represent it actually, no. So that is the reason here
Yes,
we
ma'am.
have assigned it. So here I am assigning the word called debit.
Debit and credit.
So what is the debit here? What does debit rule says in this one? So the debit rule says is when it is related to the person, no? So debit the receiver. And here the next one word, whatever we have assigned, we call it as
Credit.
credit
Credit. Bank.
the payer
In
or payee, whatever we call. Receiver and a payer. Now what is this about this?
savings account దేంట్లో వస్తుంది
Same for everything, it will be the same debit and credit. Okay?
no. సేవింగ్స్ అకౌంట్ దేంట్లో వస్తుందని అడుగుతాను.
అది నువ్వు నాకు చెప్పాలి నేను చెప్పిన తర్వాత
ఓకే మ్యామ్.
డెబిట్ హియర్ ఐ సెడ్ మెటీరియలిస్టిక్ కదా సో మెటీరియలిస్టిక్ అన్నప్పుడు ఇక్కడ
Yes,
నేను
ma'am.
మర్యాదగా పర్సనల్ అన్నప్పుడు రిసీవర్ పేయర్ అన్నాను మీన్స్ సమ్వేర్ ఐమ్ గివింగ్ అ థింగ్స్ నౌ హియర్ వాట్ ఈస్ దిస్ ఆ డెబిట్ ఇట్ ఈస్ అ మెటీరియలిస్టిక్ ఫామ్ సో మెటీరియలిస్టిక్ ని మనం ఏమంటాము వచ్చారు పోయారు అంటామా వచ్చింది పోయింది అంటామా సో దాట్ ఈస్ వే వీఆర్ గోయింగ్ టు యూస్
వచ్చింది.
so
Yes,
what
ma'am.
here we are going to call what comes in
Comes in.
and credit what
What
goes
goes
out.
out. Goes out.
What goes out. Like this, I'm going to represent.
Yes, ma'am.
Then what is this nominal? Now here I have segregated persons. I have segregated materialistic. Then what else will be remained?
Yes.
So I said when I was telling about conservatism, I said we should not expect the profits until it actually comes into hand, but we should be prepared for the losses, I said. That means in the company there will be some losses and profits, no? So those
Yes,
are
ma'am.
not cannot be categorized as a real because I said what comes in and something is really coming in right now. But whatever I talked about yesterday is it's about to come. So that means the whatever I'm talking about a losses or a profits is actually has not come to my hand. It's still on the way. So that is the reason I cannot categorize them into this part. Here I am very much particular that personally it has occurred. Something is coming right now. Something is going right now. I have categorized the materialistic format in the real account. But whereas this one, I'm saying
Okay.
that it may occur, it may not occur. So something the profits or losses we are expecting to happen in future days. So that is the
Yes, ma'am.
reason we are going to categorize these things under the new form, that is debit
Debit,
all
all
expenses
expenses,
and losses,
classes,
and credit,
benefits,
yeah,
benefits and
credit
incomes, incomes and benefits,
all incomes and gains, we are
gains,
going to call.
gains. Okay.
Like this we have categorized. So here the first personal is about related to all the people who all will be coming under this category, who all will be coming
Yes,
under these
ma'am.
categories. First foremost is persons, persons, whoever the persons may be. So who are the persons, I'll tell you. So persons, then we are going to have creditors,
Depositors,
then debtors, yeah, depositors. Then here we will have companies,
company. Yes, ma'am.
because companies, I said, it is a artificial person. According to law,
Yes,
company
ma'am.
is a artificial person. That means any organization which has been registered under an companies act, those all are artificial persons. So obviously they'll come under a personal account only, no? So
Yes, ma'am.
companies, then banks, then insurance,
Insurances.
insurance companies,
Yes, ma'am.
all these things comes under this one. Then loan, then
Yes, ma'am.
capital, all these we call it as a persons only, because whatever I'm talking about banks and insurance అనే వాళ్ళకు కూడా ఇన్సూరెన్స్ కంపెనీకి 1948 ఇన్సూరెన్స్ రెగ్యులేటరీ యాక్ట్ ఒకటి ఉంది, బ్యాంకింగ్ సెక్టర్కి కూడా బ్యాంకింగ్ యాక్ట్ ఆఫ్ 1948 అనేది ఉంది. బట్ స్టిల్ ఈ యాక్ట్స్ అనేవి ఉన్నా కూడా దేర్ బేస్ ఎసెన్స్ అంటే ఫార్మేషన్, బ్యాంక్ అవ్వాలి లేదా ఇన్సూరెన్స్ కంపెనీ అవ్వాలి అంటే మళ్ళీ వాళ్ళు డిపెండ్ అయ్యేది కంపెనీస్ యాక్ట్ మీదనే అనమాట. ఫస్ట్ దే విల్ గెట్ రిజిస్టర్డ్ అండర్ అ కంపెనీస్ యాక్ట్, దెన్ ఓన్లీ దే విల్ ఫాలో ద రూల్స్ ఆఫ్ దేర్ ఓన్ యాక్ట్ అనమాట. సో ఫస్ట్ ఇఫ్ a bank is forming, a bank wants to, they want to set up a bank, first I have to get registered with the company law only, under a companies act only. After getting registered with the company act, then only I can go and follow the insurance act, or I can follow the banking sector act. So that is the reason the essence of their formation again is again from the company. So whoever are been registered under a company, they all will be default called as what, as a persons. So that is the reason the insurance companies, bank companies, the loan companies, everything called as a personal. They all come under a personal, and their rule should be always debit the receiver, credit the payer, or credit the giver, we are going to call usually. So payer or a giver. Now here these all things are materialistic assets. So what all the things comes under materialistic? So materialistic here, even we have one more thing here. We usually simple to remember, students, we usually call as assets. And here liabilities. So this usually simple we'll call this one debit. What comes in means it is concerned with asset, and credit what goes out means simply we call it as a liability. So what all else extra things comes here is cash, bank. bank, in the sense, I'm not talking about a banking institution. I'm talking about a check. Sometimes instead of paying the amount, what we are going to do is we'll give away the check. So that is also equivalent to the cash kada. So again, the bank comes here. I'm not talking about a total bank organization. I'm talking about the transaction through a check. Dani in bank ani antani ikkada. Okay na? Transaction event occur అయినప్పుడు మాత్రమే ఇది వస్తుంది. Now cash or a bank is done, then we have all material usually for I'm going to use for my production activity, no? So the materials, I'm going to have materials, and anything which is countable and which is like assets related ante my buildings, my machineries, all these things also comes under these things. Materials means stock. So whatever, like if I have any assets, so like buildings or machineries, uh, then land, these all kind of assets we call as a real account, because they are the one which actually carry the price of a cash. Because if I'm trying to sell them, obviously I'll expect the cash, immediate cash I am going to get it. So something all the related which is going to be convertible into cash, those all will be called as a real account. Then what will be these kind of a things? So these things are, I said, all the expenses and the losses, incomes and the gains, I said. So here, what is the thing is, anything here which I cannot categorize, I have missed of categorizing these things, here I'm going to go for it. So what all expenses means, such as salaries, wages, carriage, double A has come, no problem, carriage, then freight, then what else we are going to have, interest, then we are going to have discount. So these all things will be. Shibika, ఎందుకు జాయిన్ అవ్వలేదు ఎవరు? ఎందుకు? మహతి ఏమంది?
మాటి కంటే నెట్ ప్రాబ్లం ఉంది. సాయితే ఊరికే జాయిన్ అవుతుంది, పోతుంది, జాయిన్ అవుతుంది, పోతుంది. శిక్ష అయితే వీడియో ఆడియో అన్ని క్లోజ్ చేసుకుని నేను కూడా అనే డాన్స్ చేసేం కాదు.
సరే వచ్చినాక ప్రాక్టీస్ చేయి నా ముందు. So this is how we are going to have it అన్నమాట. So this is the overall category of these things now. Hey Ammu, 1 second right. జొన్నలు వేసుకుందాం, మళ్ళీ అరుస్తాడు.
ఆ వైట్ కలర్ బ్యాగ్ తీసుకో. ఏం వైట్ కలర్? నాన్నకు వస్తున్నాను చెప్తా.
Yeah, sorry. బయట నుంచి వేసేసి. సో this is about this thing. ఇదేంటి ఎక్కడికి వెళ్తాడు ఈడ? So this is about a categories of all these things, ma. So here my all transactions I'm going to record in this manner. So I'm going to categorize as personal, real, and nominal, and then I'm going to go for categorizing in this manner. So this is our way of recording. And now I will tell you the each example how actually it goes on. So here I'll tell you one example about each thing. So what is that is, let assume for the first one, I said personal account, no? So when I said personal account, debit the receiver and credit the giver, I said. So here, what is that I'm going to have it? So first, let assume the transaction has happened or event has occurred is, it is about, mm, yeah, purchased goods from Sohan for rupees 10,000. So this is my transaction. So here, how I'm going to do it? How I'm going to do it is, now I said purchased goods from Sohan, I said. Now I'm going to divide it. I'm going to split it. So when I'm splitting it, there are two things. What is the first thing? It's about a goods. So one is goods, one splitting is goods, another split is Sohan. Another is Sohan. Now the thing is, I have to adjust them in debit and a credit format. I have to adjust them in the debit and a credit format. So how I'm going to adjust these things? Now here, let's see how I'll adjust these things. Now I said purchased goods. Now goods is not a personal, it is something a materialistic format. So what I'm going to do it? So here the materialistic format means which thing will come? Here I'm going to have this real account as a part. So real account will be my activity wherein I have to record. So what I'm going to do is in the real account, I'll see what comes in should be debited. I said that means goods should be debited. Now goods anagane, it will be a common point. So what I'm going to do is to differentiate this one, I'll try to go for recording it as in what form the goods are coming in. So the goods are coming in the format of purchases. So that is the reason I'm going to use the word called purchases account debit to Sohan. I said, Sohan, is he taking the goods or he is giving me the goods? He is giving me the goods. So that's why he will be obviously on the credit side. So that's why here I'm going to write to Sohan account. Like this, I'm going to write. This is the example of this one. Now, one more example I'll tell you. One more example is usually to start a business, the company should have a capital. And I said the owner is separate from the company, I said. So that's why if a owner is getting a capital also, we are going to treat him as a outsider only. So that is the reason what is coming in the form of investment, again cash is coming in. So that's why what comes in the materialistic format, what comes in, so cash is coming in. So that's why I'm going to write as cash account debit to, now here he is like a creditor, he is like an outsider, but though he is an outsider, somewhere he is a owner only, no? So that is the reason we are going to name him as క్యాపిటల్ ఓనర్కి వేరే క్రెడిటార్కి డిఫరెన్సియేషన్ నేను చూపించాలి కాబట్టి క్యాపిటల్ అనే అతన్ని మెన్షన్ చేస్తాం. సో హీ ఈజ్ ద గివర్ అండ్ ఈ గివర్ కి మనం క్యాపిటల్ అని పేరు పెట్టామన్నమాట. దిస్ ఈజ్ అబౌట్ దిస్ థింగ్. Now the same thing I'm taking you example of this one. Real low, I said I am purchased building for cash. This is my transaction. Purchased building for cash అనేది నా transaction. Now how I'm going to take? So here again I have to write it now. So how I'm going to write is in the form of purchases, what is coming in? My building is coming in. So that's why building account debit to cash, because for cash it is coming అన్నాడు కాబట్టి I'm going to treat it as building account debit to cash account అని తీసుకుంటాం. Then the same thing, same example, let assume I sold the machinery andam. I have taken a transaction of sold the machinery. సో దానికి ట్రాన్సాక్షన్ ఎలా రాస్తాం? సో దానికి ట్రాన్సాక్షన్ వచ్చేసి machinery is going out. Machinery is going out. So that's why what I'm going to write it as, when machinery is going out, what is coming in return? Though machinery is going in, here I have not mentioned, though machinery is going, what comes in when we sell anything? Obviously we'll get a cash, no? So that's why what comes in here I'm going to write as cash account debit to what is going out? The material, that is machinery is going out. So this is the way we are going to record. And here what is this? And one more thing I want to tell in this one is, whenever we are recording any kind of nominal transactions, make sure that the personal will not come. అంటే పర్సన్స్ నేమ్ అనేది ఎట్టి పరిస్థితుల్లో రాకూడదు. ఆ పాయింట్ చాలా బాగా గుర్తుపెట్టుకోవాలి. ఇట్ ఈస్ టు బి రిమెంబర్డ్. అది ఏంటి? I'll tell you. For example, I have told you about let assume salaries and expenses and incomes అని అన్నాను కదా. So I'll tell you what is that. So here this one is going to be salary paid to Shyam. This is my transaction. Salary paid to Shyam is my transaction. Now here what happens? I'm going to Vihari, yes ma, it is a recording class, so I did not stop. I have been continually teaching it, because if you want you can refer through a link also, no? That is the reason I haven't stopped in the middle. I'm continuing in teaching. Okay, so this one once again I'll explain you. Now I'm actually telling about this thing. What is that I'm telling is, now in this real personal the cash will be a major part. Always the cash will be taking as a major part in the both the transaction. But whereas in the nominal account, remember, the personal should not come. When I am recording a nominal transaction, person's name should not come, especially person's name should not come. That point you have to remember. Please remember that point. So what is that example I am telling you? Salary paid to Shyam Anand. So what you are going to do? Oh, salary paid to Shyam Anand. The basic mistake students does is salary to Shyam anestaru, లేదా Shyam to salary అని రాసేస్తారు. How many times we tell them that never in the nominal, no name, nominal అనగానే just remember no name. No అని ఉంటుంది కదా, nominal, no name అని అనుకోవాలి. అంటే name should not be a representative in the nominal kind of transactions. Never it should be. So that is what I'm telling you example. Salary paid to Shyam anagane, what the people will do is either they'll write salary to Shyam or Shyam to salary. But it's not like that. I'm only going to take only one part of the transaction, that is only salary. Now salary paid annada, salary received annada, paid annada. So is it an expense or an income? I'll see. So paid means obviously expense, and expense should be on which side? According to the rule, it should be on the debit side. So that is the reason here I'm going to write as salary account debit to. These nominal transactions are supposed to be done only through cash or a bank anamata. So that is the reason when nothing is mentioned, I'm going to assume as cash account. Like this, I'm going to write. Now the same interest, same thing if I'm taking about this one, let us assume like interest received and none. So interest received అనగానే what you're going to write interest and రాస్తాము. Then interest also, or I'll write like this or else interest received from y అని అనుకుందాం. సో అలాంటప్పుడు ఏం చేస్తాము y to interest or interest to y అని రాస్తాం. But what did I say? No, we are not going to write like that. Nominal అంటే no name. Remember this simple point. No name. Nominal means no name. Name should not be a part of the transaction at any cost. So then what I have to do? E2 transactions low, I'll pick only which is important. Interest received from Y. Y is not important. Interest is coming. That is important for me. Now, interest received means what? It is a income. It is a kind of a income for me. So what I'm going to do it, income should be on debit side or a credit side. I'll see the rule. So income should be on which side? Credit side. So here the interest will be on the credit. Then what should be on the top? I said only two things should be accompanying, either cash or a bank. So nothing is mentioned. So I'm going to assume here it as cash account debit to interest account. Like this, I'm going to take it. Is this clear?